When a soldier goes to war and he dies and his family is not looked after, how do you think other soldiers feel? No, when a soldier goes and dies for the nation, then his family, his children, his wife start doing prostitution work so he can feed the family. How do you think other soldiers feel? They are discouraged. They are not going to fight hard for your nation. The best way to encourage all the soldiers and the people that are willing to become soldiers in the future or entertaining the idea is to show them that if you ever fell on the ground, on the field, on the battlefield, your family will be looked after. So in this video, you're going to see Ibrahim Traoré, president of Burkina Faso, speaking to young kids. Okay, these are small kids. Who are these kids? These kids are the children of soldiers that died at war. Burkina Faso is a country at war right now. What kind of war? War against terrorism. Many people believe that colonial power is playing a game, creating mayhem and havoc because he has lost touch with the country. They're trying to regain control of the country, but it is impossible. Ibrahim Traoré is making a speech here telling these kids not to be afraid. We are going to support you. We'll make sure you have schools and you attend for free. Matter of fact, we are building schools especially for you. Let's listen.
You should feel at home here, just as I feel at home with you. In our army, we say that it's just one family. So, wherever you are with soldiers, you are at home. So we don't see you as outsiders, but as our brothers, our children, our sisters. There is already the beginning of a solution to the problem you experienced in the past. It has been a full 10 years, indeed a complete decade, that the nation of Burkina Faso has been valiantly fighting against the pervasive threat of terrorism. The country has undeniably been through an immense amount of hardship and significant challenges, but unfortunately, the critical and pressing issue of orphans and widows had not been given much serious consideration or adequate attention. I think that since last year, specifically through the dedicated efforts of Savovic, we collectively decided to establish and create a structured organization that actively tries to meticulously register and document, to register, gradually and through platforms, all the nation's orphans and also the widows of this war.
So he's talking about widows, women that lost their husband at war. You know, it's a sacrifice, fighting for your country and giving your life for it. I mean, everybody has a life. You have a wife, you have children. Are you going to sacrifice them to go die in a war for a nation that will forget you? How many people are ready to do that? Not many people. Now, Ibrahim Traoré has done something very, very interesting. All of these women that have lost their husbands at war are receiving support from the government. And this is not Mickey Mouse support. This is real support in creating businesses, in having homes, in having things to do for themselves. He's coming to the party. In this meeting, he's talking to children, telling them that you're not alone. We are here. Your father's not maybe here. Your mom has maybe sacrificed her life for the nation, but we will not let you down.
And I hope that by then, we will be able to have an exact assessment of the situation. This is the 5th decree that has been enacted. It was not long ago. This means that there are documents that are approved in the Council of Ministers to grant you the status of national orphans. And that's what entitles you to the card you have there. So we are registering people gradually. And I believe that all the children who are currently living with disabilities or in difficulty, who have not yet been registered, will be registered and will receive their card and have access to all the services you mentioned earlier.
Okay, so you're going to have access to services from the government. All these kids that lost their parents in the war are going to have access to services from the government. This is very different. You know why I'm talking about this? Because this is very important. Not all African countries do this. Sorry. Not all African countries do this. Even those countries in Africa that try to do things that are similar to this, they found themselves being run by somebody who's going to take the money that was supposed to help widows of soldiers and their children. He uses that money for his own purposes. This is what serious looks like. This is what Africa needs.
But remember one thing. You are the pillar of this nation, you children. And you must understand that the situation we are experiencing is not a normal one, if I may say so. But you, the orphans, you must understand even better than other children why Burkina Faso is in this situation. What are we doing to get ourselves out of it? And what must we do to ensure that this situation never happens again in the future? That is why, in addition to school, you will need to receive special training.
You see what he's trying to do there? He wants to make sure, excuse me, it's going to be the last time I'm going to stop you. He wants to make sure these children understand. And why these children? Because their fathers are heroes of the nation. Now, let me tell you something. If this man is a hero, his child is probably a hero too. If he's not a hero, he's got the seed of a hero inside him. If this man is a great businessman, in many cases, his child will probably be a good businessman too. In many cases. If he's not a good businessman, he definitely has the seed of the businessman. To make things easy, instead of recruiting brand new souls, let's just speak to these kids who are already affected. These kids that need no more reason to fight hard for the nation. These kids whose fathers have sacrificed their being for the nation certainly have the things and the tools that we need to have a great nation.
Because you are the witnesses of this situation. You are the witnesses today, and you will be the witnesses tomorrow. You are in the best position to tell other children what you are experiencing, because this situation happened in Burkina Faso. That is why I said, starting in 2026, God willing, we will begin building a number of schools that will be called the nation's Pipi schools in order to better support you. And you will attend these schools. And for those who would like to be boarders and all, we want to provide all the necessary conditions. So, construction will begin in 2026. We don't know if the first buildings will be finished in 2026.
This is what serious looks like. This is what serious looks like. It has nothing to do with gray hair, nothing to do with aged skin. This is what serious looks like. If all black people can behave like this man, I know he's not perfect, okay? He's not 100% perfect. But with regard to this, let's go.
But the goal is to bring you together, along with other children, of course, but also to better explain the situation to you and how you should handle things so that this situation does not happen again in Burkina. Many have suffered when they lost their parents. Many continue to suffer. A related question is that people are not well received in foster families. Others are mistreated. That's why we are taking all the necessary measures to make sure you are comfortable.
So they're making sure, because they've learned that some of these kids, when their father's killed, are sent to hoster family, I think that's what you call it, a family that keeps children. And unfortunately, they've had reports that some of these kids are being mistreated in these places. It's sad. Therefore, the government is taking responsibility to build its own infrastructure to protect these kids. This is what serious looks like.
So that you can go to school for free, receive healthcare for free, and be able to travel for free. So the first steps have already been taken, and I think that as we go along, we will spare no effort to ensure that you are in ideal conditions to be able to work and also to continue until you find a job, and that the state can support you in this regard. You should be the privileged witnesses of this situation. And this training can only be done once you have been gathered in a specific area, which will be these schools of the nation's future. So prepare yourselves for this. You will be in good conditions in these schools to better learn about what Burkina Faso is experiencing. Why is Burkina Faso being attacked? Who are those who have come to attack us to the point that we have lost our brothers, who are your relatives, and everything? And why did this situation happen? And what must we do so that tomorrow this situation never happens again, neither to your classmates nor to your children? Because you will grow up and you too will have children. But your children must grow up in very good conditions. They must not suffer. They must not experience the situation you are living through. And that is the fight. So each and every one of us, no matter how small we are, must imagine tomorrow, when I grow up, when I have children, I will do everything so that children are not in the same conditions as I was, that I experienced. So for that, you will have to fight, and you will have to better understand the situation, and it is you who will have to teach your other classmates who do not know the situation that you know. So this is a first measure that is planned to build several schools across the country where you will be very well supported. So coming back to access to healthcare, education, and other services, I think, as I said, that this is a beginning. We are already trying through the pupil card to give you access to healthcare, education, and many services. But it's not perfect, it's ongoing. Every time we have a list ready, we will continue to enroll people. And also for the various services, we will try to make sure that you have free access to all services. That is our goal. For example, someone mentioned private schools, so I invite the minister to quickly look into what kind of agreement we can have with these private schools, so that when there are wards of the nation in a given area who do not have access to public schools, or if there is a specialty in a private school that they want to access, what agreements can we make with the school to pay for these school fees? And so that you can very easily access close to home the various services you need. The various social services as well. We are working to increase the number of social services, especially in terms of healthcare. If you notice, we are currently building many health centers. This is to bring health centers closer to the general population. But in any case, before all of this happens, madam, the minister will also look into all possible agreements we can make with private social services, possibly those in your areas where you could have access. So I am waiting for a concrete proposal on what can be done when a ward of the nation shows up somewhere, and it is not a state-run service. Presenting their card, how they can access the service, and what the state can do with that structure. Regarding the possibility of meeting again, as for the first question, I would say it's always a pleasure, okay? You will always be welcome here and we will see each other again. This won't be the first or the last time, okay? So you are welcome here and don't hesitate. If you have any concerns, pass them on through the parents and it will reach the ministry. We will see what we can do, and when the time comes, we will meet again like this. To exchange ideas, you will be welcome. We will always make time to receive you because you are heroes. You are the children of our heroes, and you are heroes of this nation. You are the true heroes because you carry deep inside you in silence the pain of a present that we are living through. And you must be the ones who guarantee with God's help the future of our homeland by explaining to others how it happened and what must be done to never fall into it again. So you will always be welcome and we will see each other again, okay? So I assure you of this. For other means of transportation, it's the same thing, the various social services as well. Transportation is part of it. That's a very good question. It's true that Sotraco is free at the moment, but when the children want to travel, maybe from one city to another, private transportation. So, Madam, the Minister will look into it. What kind of agreements can we make with the different transport companies so that you can also take the bus for free? For the various social cases that may arise, it's true. We've seen situations where, after the death of a combatant, there are inheritance issues, there are questions of compensation that divide many families, there are people who are excluded from their families and so on. You are absolutely right. But we are starting a program through certain state structures, and we have also invited private partners to join us in urban development. So there will be a lot of social housing in particular. What you may have seen on TV, social housing that we will build a bit higher up, apartment-style systems. The state will get involved so that you are also taken into account in these apartments. So that when someone and their mother are not well received in a given family, the state can find an apartment and give it to them so they can live there. So God willing, starting in 2026, construction will gradually begin so that we can provide social housing. Also for our PPs, which you are. So all these issues can be resolved, and it's just a matter of timing. This goes hand in hand with all the other issues like schools and health centers. We will do everything to have health centers and schools nearby so that you can be properly educated in these facilities and also receive medical care. So I can confidently assure you that numerous comprehensive measures are actively being taken so that in the very near future, you will experience the utmost comfort and well-being possible. And I encourage you to keep working hard so you can set an example for other children. That's what I told you. So you, at your level, must also be instructors, right? You need to be able to share your experiences and explain to other children why you must work hard, stay disciplined, behave well, and listen to your teachers in order to become excellent instructors yourselves tomorrow. So I'm counting on you to be disciplined, and I can see that you are already very disciplined, as if you had a bit of military training before coming here. That's what was done. You were trained? Oh, really? Do you truly want to be actually trained? So we'll include military training in the future schools for the nation's little ones. You'll like that, won't you? Many people here want to be in the military. You will defend your homeland, and that's what matters. So it's a noble profession, and we will do everything to ensure that you have these values of integrity and patriotism wherever you are. So I can count on you, on your discipline, right? Work. Everyone works well, I hope. All right, I will check with your teachers. Next time you come, I will ask for everyone's report card. I hope everyone has at least the average grade. All right, so congratulations to all of you. Soon it will be the holidays, so keep working hard at school. Work hard, respect your elders, respect your parents, respect your instructors at school. They are your parents, they teach you, they educate you about everything you need to do, and you should respect everyone in everyday life. I can count on you because I say that you will be role models, and you must be role models. You must be exemplary Burkinabe citizens. And when we say Burkinabe, we mean a person of integrity. We do not lie, we do not steal, we do not cheat, we work, we are disciplined. In short, there are many qualities you need to have. I can count on you. I can count on you. Thank you very much, and I am very happy. And so, God willing, we will meet again next time to discuss many other topics that you want. May God bless you, and may God protect our dear homeland. Homeland or death, yes, the homeland or death, that is absolutely it. And we will always, always prevail and triumph.
That's what it is, fellas. I want to know how you feel about this. Let's talk about some fun things, my brother. Yeah, thank you very much for stopping. I appreciate you. Well, today we're talking about Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. What have they done? Oh, first year they are on the map. I know you don't know the map. No, I'm just kidding. So Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are about to create their own radio. Yes, a radio bringing the three countries together. Congratulations, Pigama Kofi. Yeah, Pigama Kofi. This is amazing. This is beautiful. Matter of fact, a lot of people say that projects run by many African countries never succeed. You heard about that before? Not just Africans, they say even black people in general. They say when you come together to try to build something, you always fail. Is this truth or not? I mean, it's sad because the past has taught us some things that are very close to that fact. Do you know the African Union? Okay, the African Union building, this one here in Ethiopia. Okay, the idea was to get African nations to put money together to get it built. And nobody put money down. What had occurred apparently was every African country was supposed to bring money together so that they can build this building. But what happened was every president came up with an excuse. You know how black people do? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Why you didn't tell me yesterday? You should have told me yesterday. I would have given you money for your birthday like yesterday when we were talking at that specific time. This is what Africans do, and black people in general. Now, the same thing happened with your leaders. You think it's only you? No. Even your leaders have the same demons. That's how they couldn't build the African Union building. Guess who built it? Any idea? The Chinese. The Chinese came into Africa and said, let's go help those people. Maybe it's going to be a very good opportunity for us to get into the market as well. We're going to offer you a building in your continent with our stuff. We're going to build it for you. They built the African Union for the Africans. And guess what they did? You know what they did in the building? They did put hearing devices like cameras and microphones in alleys, in toilets, in place. Now, the African Union building is supposed to be a building where African leaders come together to discuss Africa. Now, you get a foreign nation to come and build it for you because you're too stingy. You want to spend money on your second, third, fourth wife. You know what the foreign nation does? He put things in your building so you can listen to everything you're talking about. You know what happened? Every Saturday, data came from servers in the African Union going to China. So all the things you spoke about behind the walls, all the stuff that you took in the bathroom, all the that you took in, no, forget about the went to China. Now, guess what? The principle along the line where Africans cannot come together to build things is not valid in the IOS. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are building a radio. It's a confederal radio. The goal number one is to fight misinformation. Why fight misinformation? Because a lot of information comes from Europe about Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And those information in most cases are not necessarily in their favor. Why? Because they kicked out these people. Yeah, the French used to be very prominent in those countries. And these three governments asked them to leave. And after they left, their radios and TV speak a lot about the Sahel group. Do you think they're going to say nice things? No, they won't say nice things. So they need to counter misinformation. All the stories along the line that they're killing people, they're unaliving children should be counted. And that's number one. Number two, bring the confederation together. So what does that mean? In this radio, they won't just speak in international languages. They will speak also in local languages. And as you can see, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are countries of their own, but they've come together to be one confederation. Therefore, you must remember, each country has many tribes. Now, in a way to bring these people all together, what do? You start speaking their languages. When you speak in their languages respectively, people get attached. So what they're trying to do here is to bring a feeling of community amongst these three countries, because they understand that countries are bullshit. 3 foreign ministers of all these countries came together to sign a paper for this radio to be on. Congratulations. Congratulations, Pigama Coffee. Pigama Coffee, we like that. We like good news. We like things that move forwards. We're always going to support.
This is a major step we are taking, a step that comes to strengthen all the achievements so far. You know that it was barely 2 years ago that the Alliance of Sahel States was created. We have taken several steps forward. Tonight, this is an extremely decisive step because our leaders, the 3 heads of state, have made the choice and committed their respective governments to work in order to consolidate the achievements and truly move towards complete sovereignty.
Next thing, you see these guys, these 2 kids, they have just built their own drone from scratch. You can see them, they look like teenagers. These 2 kids, one name is Alexandre Ouagadougou, the other one is Toussaint Keteinga. These are 2 engineers that started this project. The objective was what? Build drones. They have built different types of drones. Now, in most cases, when you hear people say that an African country built a cell phone or a car, it's not necessarily building. It's usually assembling. Well, these guys did not assemble. They wrote the project on paper. They wrote the software. They built the operating system. Then they printed with the 3D all the mechanism of these drones. What are the drones for? Well, the drones are obviously going to be for surveillance purpose, making sure you see the enemy, because there are many enemies. That's what it is in Africa. As soon as an African country is trying to move forward in a positive way, there are enemies. There are no enemies when the country is going to the gutter. There are no enemies when the country is a shithole country. It's only when a leader comes up, a leader stands up, that enemies are born. Remember, Ibrahim Traoré. You remember how you found out about him? At least a lot of people found out about him when General Langley. Remember General Langley saying that Traoré was using the gold of Burkina Faso to seat his influence.
I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traoré and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime.
And many people across the world were very angry, including you. You in America, you African Americans, you Jamaicans, you Caribbeans were angry. You stood and you walked down the street saying, hands off Traoré. Why? Because he's a good man.
Here today to celebrate and to upkeep the work of Abraham Torres, the president of Burkina Faso. We are in support of the president for the liberation of our black mother country, Africa.
It's only good men that face difficulties and stuff. All the bad leaders of Africa applauded, they praised for their work. These 2 kids have built drones. It's going to be for surveillance. It's going to be used for agriculture. It's going to be used for integrity. Why is this important? This is great because when Ibrahim Traoré flew to Russia, when he spoke to the Russian president, he said, we don't just want to buy solutions from Russia. We want Russia to help us build. We want to create our own. We want our own researchers, our own engineers.
And we would like to see Russia assisting us in training and educating our youth to help us to develop our own industries, our own enterprises. Machinery, other types of manufacturing, because it's very important for Africa.
So the goal is exactly what Ibrahim Traoré wanted. You may buy for Russia because you're a friend with them now. You don't know if you're going to be friends with them forever. What if the friendship breaks? Then they can't supply you anymore with the things that you're buying from them. The solution is rather, let me learn from you so I can be independent. That's how you progress. And Ibrahim Traoré understands that. Now, this is very inspiring, but I have a worry. My worry is Africa is not short of people with brains. Africa has never been short with people with engineer skills. Africa has never been short with people with great talent. Africa has always been short of leaders with capability to dress up those people. Africa has never been short of people with brains. Africa have been short of leaders capable of supporting these brains. See this guy right here. I think his name is Yapi something. He's a guy from Ivory Coast. See Ivory Coast on the map? The guy was extremely intelligent. Back in time when people still play CDs. You remember CDs? CD-ROMs? You played your music in your disc, right? And piracy was great because people took originals and copied. And they printed their own stuff and sold. So musicians could not be remunerated appropriately because of piracy. Remember that time? I know some of the people here are very young. CDs, this guy back in time came up with a software to block people from recording CDs and put a stop on piracy. Matter of fact, he built many things, not just that. He also built an invisible keyboard. An invisible keyboard, meaning you can tap on a computer without necessarily having a keyboard in front of you. You just have to use your brain, your thought. So he believed your brain thinking expresses itself before you type it. That's the guy. Guess what happened to him? Nobody supported him. He died hungry and in poverty. He died sick. Even his own government did not do the necessary thing to upkeep this man. And at the time they're trying to do something, it was too late for him to survive.
I'd like to point out to Innocent, if he's listening to me, that this Yapi Didier, do you know him?
I've heard about him, but I don't know if it's possible because me, Mr. Engineer, I really don't know.
Have you already tried this out, perhaps before?
I don't know about that. I'm going to leave it.
Well, when you don't know, you have to try.
We've already started taking steps for that.
Do you know Yapi Didier, Mr. President?
No, maybe we don't know Yapi Didier, but we have Yasse here, Evariste Yasse, who's an arranger, who went to Amsterdam for this kind of issue and came back with solutions. Coded CDs that prevent works from being pirated. He'll talk about it in a moment.
As you know, you don't know Yapi Didier, right? Are you taking notes?
This is the sadness about Africa. There is another guy in Zimbabwe, I believe his name is Michael Chikumbuto. The guy came up with a TV that doesn't need electricity from a wall. I mean, a TV that works without electricity. I don't know how he figured that out. But it's still there. It still has not blown. How? We don't know. And I'm actually very surprised and I'm very glad that the guy's still alive. Because many people feel like the previous guy, Yapi, was perhaps unalive. Africa has never been short of brains. Africa has always been short of leaders capable of developing these brains. Why can't Africans invest in those guys that are capable? I remember in Kenya, there were like 2 kids that developed a robot. I think a robot machine that will allow you to command it without necessarily having arms for handicapped people. Something very similar. So you're handicapped, you have no arm, you have a robot that's capable of picking things just with your thought.
Elbow level Y-axis articulation.
System initiated.
I think those kids developed another software that would have enabled mute people with handicaps to express themselves without having to open their mouth. I don't know what happened with these kids. On my last trip in Kenya, I'm really trying to get in touch with them so I can sponsor something. But wherever their shop used to be is not there anymore. This is the sadness of Africa. Well, I hope Ibrahim Traoré will do different things because that's the impression we're getting with these kids. If they can build their own drone, they just need to be exposed to the right things and get the experience that's necessary so they can build things that belong to Burkina Faso. Why is it necessary for your country to have its own things, its own technology, its own development? Because let me put it this way. If your president uses an iPhone to communicate with, what makes you think iPhone doesn't have a backend to his cell phone? How do you think America and Israel and all these countries get information about you? Like deep information. It's not necessarily hacking. I mean, the thing that you're using at the base, the computers, the cell phones belong to them. They have the software. They can access your thing anytime. It's not even about breaching internet. It's at the beginning. They have a back-end entry to your device. That's why every country should have its own technology program. Do you think the Chinese use American technology for their communication? No, they don't. Especially not when it comes to the state. Every country should have its own things that is, theirs. And they have all the patents. Well, Burkina Faso is thinking at that level. It's not just about importing. It's about developing locally. That's what it is, fellas. I mean, these 3 countries have come together again, showing us what real brotherhood is all about. They built their own radio. They've signed documents today. It's official. They're going to be speaking in local languages to promote togetherness, Burkina Faso's Alexandre Ouagadougou and Toussaint Keitenda have built their own drones. There's one for agriculture, one for intelligence purpose. Let me know how you feel about this. The United States of America will ban South Africa from the G20. Crazy stuff. Will the US do it? We got some very interesting things coming here, and I think we need to share this with you. Yes, this is exactly what we feared, but it's here. After going back and forth with South Africa, Donald Trump refusing to attend the G20 summit in South Africa in boycott against the South African government, which he accused of promoting, if not tolerating, genocide against white people. Donald Trump has spoken on Truth Media. This is what he said. We're going to put it on the screen so you can see. Trump said the United States did not attend G20 in South Africa because the South African government refuses to acknowledge or address the horrific human rights abuse endured by Afrikaners or other descendants of Dutch, French, or German settlers. So Trump has spoken about this, accusing South Africa of tolerating genocide against white farmers. Let's continue. To put it bluntly, they are killing white people and randomly allowing their farm to be taken from them. Perhaps worst of all, at the conclusion of the G20, South Africa refused to hand off the G20 presidency to a senior representative from the US Embassy, who attended the closing ceremony. Therefore, at my direction, South Africa will not be receiving an invitation to the 2026 G20, which will be hosted in the great city of Miami, Florida next year. South Africa has demonstrated to the world they are not a country worthy of membership anywhere. We are going to stop all payment and subsidies to them, effective immediately. Thank you for your attention for this matter. As for us to understand, I think what's happening here is the United States of America is very unhappy about one thing. What is it? After boycotting the trip to South Africa, a communication was directed to South Africa whilst the G20 was happening. And what they understood at the time was America was willing to send somebody to attend the G20. But at that specific time, a question was asked to President Cyril Ramaphosa while he was on the podium, and his response was this.
We have received notice from the United States, a notice which we are still in discussions with them over, about a change of mind about participating in one shape, form or other in the summit. So the discussions are still ongoing. This comes really at the late hour before the summit begins. And so therefore we do need to engage in those types of discussions to see how practical it is and what it finally really means.
So what we understand is the United States of America wanted to send somebody to finally attend the G20. You know, the G20, they boycotted. Trump boycotted the G20, accusing South Africa of allowing genocide, not acknowledging the genocide of white farmers in the land. After Ramaphosa said in these terms, you know, like we don't know, and laughing, we need to check the practicalities of things. Like, okay, they boycotted the thing, but now they want to come at the very, very late stage. We don't know how we need to see how practical this is. It didn't sound very good. Very shortly after, this was the reaction of America.
The South African president running his mouth a little bit against the United States and the president of the United States earlier today, and that language is not appreciated by the president or his team.
So the lady clearly said that the president of South Africa is running his mouth, running his mouth a little bit against South Africa, which is not necessarily the right way to address a president of a free country, let alone somebody who could be your grandfather. It was clearly where things went south. She clarified, saying we did not want to send anybody to attend the meeting. We actually wanted to send somebody to do the handover of the presidency of G20. Remember, next year, America is supposed to assume the presidency of G20, like this year was South Africa. Now, normally, at the handover, it's usually a big ceremony between presidents. You know, they shake hands, people attend it, they clap hands, they do an entire ceremony. But this time around, America will not send Donald Trump because he refused boycotting South Africa, but they wanted to send somebody. Who is this person? Who can they send? They chose to send U.S. Representative Mark D. Dilliard. Who is he? He's a chargé d'affaires of the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria. Chargé d'affaires? Well, South Africa said that's a junior diplomat. Why not send the ambassador? like out of respect. Why send a chargé d'affaires? It's like, okay, I'll send you my son, you can have a discussion with my son about properties. I mean, we neighbors, we have an issue we need to talk about regarding properties. When you want to send me talk to your 21-year-old son, he doesn't sit right. I'm a father. You know what I'm saying? So South Africa said, we're not doing this. We're not going to do this. I mean, we're not going to get our president to go talking to a chargé d'affaires, not even ambassador. The American ambassador in South Africa is available. It was announced by Trump on the 27th of March, 2025. His name is Leo Brent Bozel III. He is the ambassador of America in South Africa. He could represent the president, but they didn't use him. They wanted to send the junior diplomats to go meet the president of a country. They're boycotting. I don't know, whichever you want to do it, whether you don't mean anything wrong with that. The simple fact that you boycotted the president and you send the junior diplomat, it sends a message. I could say, I can't come, but I will send you somebody that can represent me. We know the practices. That makes sense. South Africa said, no, we're not going to accept this. The handover will not be done between the president and the junior diplomat. We are sending somebody that's at his level. So South Africa delegated Director General of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, Mr. Zane Dangor. He wants to meet the American diplomat. And obviously, that made big noise. That's when Trump said, you know what? We are not inviting South Africa to the G20 2026, and South Africa shouldn't be part of any organization that is credible. Well, President Ramaphosa reacted by describing it as regrettable. He said the announcement by the US that South Africa will not be invited to take part of the next year G20 summit in Florida. Well, Mr. Ramaphosa is usually very calm. I don't know if it's wisdom, perhaps, you tell me. The first time he was accused of hovering a genocide in South Africa, they went all the way to the United States of America, feeling like they went to justify themselves, trying to explain, which was not necessarily needed, as a sovereign country, sovereign nation. They went to the US explaining, showing to the world that whatever accusation you have against us is not truth. He showed a lot of humility. And again, here he says, well, it's very regrettable that America, through Trump, feels they can ban us, literally not invite us at G20. Now, does America own G20? That's a big question mark. Many people feel this is a punishment by Trump to South Africa. Well, social media reacted to this. Let's see what social media had to say about this. There's this person named Noedine Isaac. He says Trump cannot get over the fact that an African country has the absolute audacity to defend its sovereignty, or that a black leader dares to not fall in line. What do you think about that? The next one says none of South African political parties, including those that represent Afrikaners and white communities in general, have claimed that there is a genocide in South Africa. So what is Trump's game? What is happening? Adrian Lombard, I see a flag of South Africa in the United States of America. He's probably a South African living in America or a South African that loves America. He says, nonsense. South Africa has a crime and black racism problem. As a white citizen of South Africa, the US is 100% correct to not provide visas to the corrupt South African government for next year G20. How do you feel about that? Now, if the government is corrupt, is that a reason why they should be refused a visa? I don't know. You let me know about that. The next person says, President Trump, did you know that gun-related fatalities remain significant in the US? With 8,000 gun-related deaths so far in 2025, is that genocide? And we should all put effort to deal with such to realize a better world, not to target anyone on the basis of non-factual information. So he's basically saying that Trump should focus on what's happening in America because crime happens everywhere. The next person, he says he refused to acknowledge the UN recognized genocide in Gaza, but is out here bragging about some unproven, baseless land grab in South Africa. Double standard. How do you feel about that? The next person, China Unstoppable Rise. He says there is no genocide of white people being perpetrated by the South African government. The Global South has the moral duty to stand in solidarity with South Africa and to boycott G20 Summit 2026. Is that a good idea or not? If that was a good idea, do you think the Global South has the means to do that or the guts to face America? Kevin Long said they are just not allowing a bunch of racist black people in their country. So this guy says that black South Africans are racist people. Do you think they are racist? What are they fighting about? These people say that South African government, the black government, has instituted over 100 racist laws. Basically, these laws go along the lines of trying to get black people to cover, the gap that was created during apartheid by giving them opportunities. Are these racist laws, or these are laws to compensate the difficulties and the pain that was occurred during apartheid? Sunflower says farm murders are the only violent crime where the knee-jerk reaction of some is to immediately dismiss it by reciting South Africa's general murder statistic like mantra. So he's basically trying to say that why every time we talk about farm murders, everybody wants to talk about other murders in South Africa? Why can we not acknowledge the murders of white South Africans? Does he have a point? Absolutely, he's got a point. You cannot just erase something negative happening to a specific group of people just because it's happening to everybody. On the same token, you cannot make that thing the exclusive problem of a nation because it's happening to a specific group of people. So does it deserve to be attended to? Absolutely. It needs the attention that's necessary. So whether it's the specific group of people enduring a situation or the entirety of the nation moving to a better situation. So that's what it is, fellas. Donald Trump said he was going to boycott G20 in South Africa, accusing South Africa of accepting and not acknowledging the genocide of white people in South Africa, a genocide that's been debunked,
We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers, it's across the board.
South Africa is riddled with crime, lots of crime. South Africa, unfortunately, is one of the countries with the most crime in the world. We're talking about Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town. Unfortunately, crime is a subject that affects everybody. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. Do you think America has the right to block South Africa from attending G20? Like it said here, the USA will be like a host of a party. He doesn't own the room. So he doesn't have the rights to block South Africa from going. But what the US can do is they can not issue visas to South African representatives. They can do that. In the same way they've blocked some of the people from attending the United Nations, like the prosecutor that condemned the prime minister of the country you don't name. He's not allowed to go to the United States of America, even if he's going to the United Nations, because the US refused to issue him a visa. Well, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said publicly that he would seek to persuade Trump to extend an invitation to South Africa. Now, I don't know how this is important. If legally Trump does not have the right to exclude South Africa from this event, why would you as the Chancellor of a country say, I will speak to Trump so he can allow you? Doesn't that give him more legitimacy to what he's doing? I don't know. What is clear here is this one. The first time South Africa was accused of genocide, they sent people to the US to justify themselves. That's what it was. This time around, they don't want to justify themselves. It feels like they are ready for anything. They don't show it openly. It's not, we're going to war, but it's like, you know what? It's fine. It's all fine. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.